If you're feeling stuck or directionless or lost in life, this is the video for you. Here is how to take the first step towards a life you love. So if you're feeling stuck, I have a 4-step framework that you can work through to take your first step to feeling unstuck. Now, this 4-step framework is developed by my mentor who, for reference, he loves his life. He lives a life out in the mountains. He coaches top-level CEOs and execs for companies, and he skis or snowshoes half the time of his outdoor activities. That's just for reference. He created this framework, so it works. So if you're feeling stuck and you want to get a life you love, the first step is to simply accept that you feel stuck. It can be difficult to go through life and be like, well, I don't know if I'm stuck or if I'm just not working hard enough, or I can't pinpoint the reason. Accept that you are stuck and you feel directionless. Once you accept that, you can start working towards the change. So it's identifying that lack of motivation that you feel. Now, lack of motivation comes from a whole lot of reasons, and you don't need motivation to be successful. But if you constantly feel a lack of desire or motivation to do the things that you do on a day-to-day routine, it might be time for a change. If you hate your job so much that you dread waking up and don't want to go in there anymore, you might be stuck or directionless, and it might be time for a change again. So with that, if you hate your daily routines and you want a mix-up of your day-to-day, you might be stuck, and that's okay. It's important to understand those feelings as that you just want a change. You want something different. You're not stuck, you just need something new. So with that, if you're longing for something more, understand that it's okay to feel stuck, but acknowledge it. Acknowledge, I feel stuck and I feel lost, because once you do, you're gonna be able to move from that. So that first step is called stabilization. You're gonna identify where you're at in your life and where you maybe wanna go. So understand that you may have a little bit of a fear of a change. You may feel comfortable in your current daily routine and realize that, well, I don't want to change because what if I fail? And I don't hate my routine fully, but I don't love it. You want to love your life. You want to be excited to wake up. So I would encourage you, if you feel that way, if you feel that comfortability in your change, try to override that. Try to override that fear of change and realize that you are ready for change. Accept that you can have a life of your dreams. So with that, the first step is to accept you feel stuck, which is better known as stabilization. Now the second step to identifying how to make this change and taking the first step to living a life that you love is to clarify your desires or visualize. You're gonna visualize, what does amazing look like 12 months from now? What does amazing look like 5 years from now? What does amazing look like 10 years from now? And when you do that, what I encourage you to do is, we have a balance wheel in the description below. I'll tell you more about it at the end, but it has 4 different areas: professional, relationships, health, and resources. And in those areas, I encourage you to go around the wheel and visualize, what does amazing look like? Because that can really give you some good outcomes to drive towards. So you ask yourself, what does amazing look like? Now, I have another little helpful activity that you can do if you're feeling stuck or lost. That being, you can practice the 4 situations. Now, what I mean by these 4 situations is, you're gonna go through these and you're gonna ask yourself, if you had unlimited money, what would you do with that money? What would you put it towards? What would you work on? Stuff like that. Second situation is, if you had limited time, you're being paid a salary of $250,000, very comfortable, but you had to be able to work on something you love. What would you be doing? You had a 3-year expiration date. You're gonna die in 3 years. You're gonna be healthy until then, but on your 3 years, exactly this day, you're gonna die. What would you work on? What would you do? And the 4th situation is that if you were on your 100th birthday, what are the things that you'd want to be hearing? What are some of those achievements you've done? And with those 4 situations, you can start to identify where you want to go. Because you're feeling stuck and lost, you probably feel like you don't have a direction. And without a direction, it's hard to drive towards anything. So with these 4 situations, it's gonna nail down a direction for you, or at least give you an idea of where to go and help you visualize, what does amazing look like? Now, from there, you need to ask yourself, what changes do you wanna make within your life? Look at some of your habits you have. What habits do you wanna have? What would you in 5 years say about your current habits? And what would you in 5 years be doing? Asking those questions can help you identify and realize where you want to go and visualize what's possible. But the third step in our 4-step framework here at Life on Your Terms is to break out of your comfort zone, better known as strategy. Strategization is how are you going to make this happen? And in this instance, it's breaking out of your comfort zone. So with strategy, first, acknowledge the fear of failure or success. Because I was just talking about this earlier today, that both exist. You may be afraid that you're going to fail, but sometimes what holds you back even more is the fear that you'll be successful. What will change? So acknowledge those fears of failures and successes to be able to move through those, break out of that comfort zone, if you will. Now, the second thing within breaking out of your comfort zone is getting small challenges to grow. For example, let's say you want to lose 15 pounds in 6 months. A great goal would be to try to hit 1 pound a week, to lose 1 pound a week. And then a great goal before that would be going to the gym 5 days a week. And another great goal would be to eat these healthy foods. Those are all small challenges that kind of compound and will get you to your 15 pounds. Personal example that I have that could be applicable to this situation is 2 years ago, I really wanted to work on my social skills. So my first step was to watch Charisma on Command on YouTube. From there, I then took the knowledge I had and tried to apply it in daily situations. Maybe it was introducing myself to someone, or maybe it was giving someone a compliment, or maybe it was making a joke that I thought people wouldn't really like, but I thought that was funny. Through those things, I was able to grow through those experiences, experience those small challenges, and break out of my comfort zone to improve my social skills, which was my original goal. From there, another thing I would encourage you to do to break out your comfort zone is to get new experiences that bring excitement. Using the weight loss example, maybe that's trying a new workout. Or maybe you don't like your job very much, and maybe that's going to an educational event in an area that you are excited about and you want to maybe transfer into. Try to find new experiences to bring you excitement so that you don't feel as down or as lost about these things. It's totally okay to feel that way, but these new experiences can bring new excitement into your life to help you not feel lost. Now, after you start to break out of your comfort zone and develop that strategy, that moves us to the 4th step, which is simply set goals and take action. And this is both strategy and execution being the final stage in our framework. That is being with the goals is to set goals in the areas I talked about in the balance wheel: the professional, the health, the resources, and the relationships. Being able to set goals within all those. I like to do quarterly objectives, and I actually have my quarterly objectives right up that I will read to you really quick. I have 4 quarterly objectives, simple as that. Professional is to work 20 hours a week outside of Costco, very process-based goal. My relationships is to hang out with friends once a month. My health is to eliminate probably from my vocabulary when I know what I'm going to do. I find myself saying probably too much when I know the answer, so it's just to eliminate that, and that's going to help my mental health. The last one is resources. No phone in my bed in the morning other than Webull and my bank account. I found myself scrolling on Reels, wasting so much time, so I can only look at Webull and my bank account. And so with those things, I have set goals that I'm going to change, and then I take action on those goals. Now you can apply that same process to what you are doing. Make them actionable, make them incorporated towards the change you want to make, and then set reviews at the quarter. So that's what I do, and that's very helpful. Now from there, you ask yourself, what will stand in your way? What will stand in your way from making this change? What barriers are going to hold you back? Once you've identified those things, it's to take action, and you've taken the first step towards a life you love. Now, really quick on the balance wheel, I'd encourage you to take it in the description below, because we have 4 categories that I mentioned throughout this video a few times, but each category has 3 subcategories. And within those, it can highlight some changes you may want to make. So there's 12 categories throughout the whole balance wheel that really incorporate your whole life, help you make the changes and drive towards those changes. Also, I'd love if you subscribe, left a comment, left a like. It really helps the algorithm, really helps the channel. Thank you guys, and we'll see you in the next video.